What's going on, good peoples? It is another Friday night. So you know what that means. It's the Play Caller Sports Talk Show. As you can see, it's only two of us tonight. But of course, in our personal opinion, you get the best two here, right? So, we might be a little biased in that, but it's all good. So Coach Donte, of course, joining me tonight, man. We're gonna be talking some NCAA, right? Go ahead and getting that wrapped up. Got two new champions to talk about. Also, had a couple other things happen around that we're gonna talk about a little bit, and of course, a lot of NBA talk tonight too. So let's hop into it, man.
Let's do it.
So first of all, man, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the Final Four. So you can either go ahead and give me the Final Four matchups themselves, since we didn't really get to talk about this last week, or if you just want to talk about the championship games, I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna get up in the championship games, man. As of right now, congratulations to LSU and UConn, but congratulations to the LSU Lady Tigers for a dominant victory against the Iowa Hawkeyes, man. The game got out of hand in the second quarter. Jasmine Carson was just on fire in that second quarter. It just appeared to be, Iowa was no match for LSU, no matter what they did. LSU was clearly the better team. They clearly had the better players. Now, for South Carolina, nobody has played the defense that Iowa played on South Carolina Now, everybody that played, that even watched South Carolina, I don't understand how they didn't get a hold to how they play. But Iowa and the head coach, Lisa Bluter, she definitely saw how they play. For them to not play the three-point line the way they didn't do. And, again, South Carolina, they're not a good three-point shooting team at all. Yep. And Lisa Bluter saw that. She packed the paint with Aaliyah Boston. They knew they couldn't out-rebound them. They knew they could out-physical them. But if one thing Iowa did, they made 3 more threes than they did. And pretty much that was the ball game. They said, hey, if you can shoot from the outside, beat me shooting, then, hey, it is what it is. South Carolina never could shoot. They couldn't do it. And Iowa got some key stops in key situations, and they end up beating the throne in South Carolina. Now, on the other end, LSU was a terrible matchup for Iowa because why? LSU can do everything. They got good guard play. They got better guard play than South Carolina. They got better athletes than South Carolina do. Outside of Aaliyah Boston, they got better shooters than way better shooters than South Carolina do. That's what decided the game. 𝐀𝐁 Clark did get her 41 points. She did get over 41 points. But again, she worked it for every point she got. She got frustrated. They played tough. They played physical defense against 𝐀𝐁 Clark. They contained her the best way they really could. And you just got to give credit to the LSU Lady Tigers. Good coaching over there, good guard play. And the guards, most of those guys are coming back. Most of those ladies are coming back. They only have 4 seniors this year. So you can very much see LSU back next year. They only have 4 seniors, including one that can actually come back. Alexis Morris can actually come back because of the COVID year. She's a senior, but she can actually come back if she wants to. And you can see LSU back next year very much. And you can also see Iowa in the same situation because 𝐀𝐁 Clark got 1 more year of eligibility. But other than that, I want to congratulate the LSU Lady Tigers for winning the national title. And they definitely was the better team. They definitely, outplayed them. They definitely out-physical them. You got to give them credit. As for men's UConn basketball, congratulations to Coach Hurley. Very, very good coaching performance. They got a stud over there in Jordan Hawkins, who is really good coming out. He can come off screen, shoot the basketball, also penetrate, put the ball on the floor. He's set to be a first-round pick in the NBA draft, middle of the pack first-round pick. Sunoco, that dude is a beast in the paint. The 2 7-footers, they beast in the paint. They play very good defense. San Diego State, their problem all tournament long. They have this elite defense, but they can't score. They struggle to score in the half-court situation. And I think that's what UConn definitely took advantage of them and the rebounding edge they did. So congratulations to LSU and Lady Tigers and the UConn Huskies for winning the national championship.
Yeah, man. You mentioned the thing with South Carolina was they couldn't shoot the ball, right? And we actually talked about that last week.
Yep.
Right? Whereas
Yep.
that's the one thing that you had to question, like, would they get in trouble by not being able to shoot? And everybody kind of felt like maybe their defense would be good enough to bail them out of even a poor shooting night. But I mean, if you can't shoot the ball at some point, you're going to get burned.
Yep.
And that's what happened.
That's what exactly they couldn't. This is all year. This was a yearly thing, and I don't understand how more teams didn't pick up on that. And Iowa was the only team that to pick up on it and saying, "Hey, their weakness, they can't shoot from the outside. They're not a very good shooting team. So we can play the paint and guard Aaliyah Boston and Cordoso and make them try to shoot the lights out. Then we should be in the game." And just make more shots than they make, then we should be fine. Now, they didn't shoot the 3 ball very well. Iowa didn't shoot it very well. But again, they made 3 more threes than South Carolina did. They made 7. South Carolina made 4. And, that was a good strategy. They knew they was going to have trouble rebound because Aaliyah Boston is 6'6" and Cordoza is 6'7". So they knew they was going to have trouble rebounding the basketball, and they did have trouble. But the problem is, the shot-making ability of Iowa, and then I think they kind of underestimated Caitlin Clark a little bit by playing her one-on-one. You normally see every team doubling Caitlin Clark. When she get a screen set and they jump her immediately. You didn't see that in South Carolina. They played a straight one-on-one, either pick and roll, and she was also able to go to the rim and get some easy layups whenever she wanted to. So again, they kind of estimated her ability to drive to the basket, and they figured they have good enough defenders to slow her down as well.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that you kind of hit on there, right, is that you wonder why other teams didn't really employ this philosophy. And I think that we do have to acknowledge here is their defense is normally so good that other teams, even if they try to do the strategy, they can't make enough shots. And that's when you really have to give Iowa a lot of credit. They hit the shots they had to hit in order to actually win that game.
Yep, they did. They definitely did.
So coming out of the women's game, we also had a little bit of a controversy, right?
Yeah.
So of course, I'm referring the John Cena gesture that
yeah.
So what do you? First, I'm just going to ask, what are your thoughts on it?
Well, like I said, I don't think too much of it. Caitlin Clark wasn't phased by it. She wasn't phased by it at all. She just took it. She just went by her business. But other than that, it's okay for Caitlin Clark to do it, but not okay for Angel Reese to do it. That was a problem right there. But again, I just take it. I just take it. I don't take that too personally. I just think it's two people that want to win games. That's trying to win a game. Two competitive people that's trying to win a national championship. You got to think about it. This is LSU women's basketball first national title. Mm-hmm. So all I did was take it as a person that's trying to win a game. And if it takes trolling or trash talking, that's part of the game. That's part of basketball. I mean, they do it in football all the time. They do it in football and other sports all the time. So again, I don't kind of make much of that situation. I don't think probably Angel Reese went a little bit too far. A little bit. I know she took it to Instagram and stuff like that and put it on a whole nother level. But at the end of the day, they did give Caitlin Clark her respect. They do respect her as a player. That's one thing they came out and did say. So it wasn't no hatred towards her or anything. I mean, that was just the heat. I believe that was just the heat of the moment. I believe that was just the moment they win in the first national championship of that college career. And they was just being competitive. That was being competitive. I mean, if you was, like I say, to be honest, if you was good like Caitlin Clark was and you feel like nobody can guard you and you doing what you do, you're gonna get in a little bit of a moment and you're gonna talk some trash. You're gonna do all kind of signs and stuff like she do. You're gonna start yelling. You're gonna start looking at a player. And Angel Reese did it a lot of times this year. But again, that's part of basketball, man. That's part of basketball. So I mean, it's okay for it. So again, just two great ladies that wants to win, and they're gonna get a shot back at each other next year. They should have an opportunity at each other next year to do it again.
Yeah, the thing I found interesting, man, is, man, I can't confirm this, right? But my gut feeling is that a lot of the people that were being critical of Angel Reese for doing this, because the thing I keep seeing people say is, oh, it's okay when Caitlin Clark does it, but why not the other way? And my thing with that is, I'm willing to bet that most of those people that were writing all the comments on she was classless or whatever probably have never watched a women's basketball game in their life.
Yep.
They probably didn't even know who either one of these ladies was until they saw the clip of this when other people started talking about it. And then they literally saw that 5-second clip of what happened in that one moment. That's literally all they know.
That's all they know. Yep.
They didn't want to bother actually educating themselves and going out looking, because the reality is, like you just said, Caitlin Clark is a trash talker herself.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
She talks mad trash all the time. So this was just a instance of like two trash talkers going at each other, right? I mean, I know I grew up in an era where we trash talked on the basketball court all the time. I'm sure you grew up trash talking on the basketball court. Usually, like, what happened to me is actually pretty mild. In the grand scheme of what I consider trash talk, that was like kind of weak, honestly. Like, I'm like, that's what was about. I don't even think that was good enough to get upset about.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough, man. I believe I'll say, man, again, it's competitive basketball. You're trying to win. That don't mean a player have hard feelings about that person. No, I mean, Angel Reese, like you said, if they watch college basketball, Angel Reese did that all year long to people, no matter who it was. Yeah, she blocked people's shots. She'll look at them, she'll look down at them, she'll also taunt them, she'll make a layup and start licking up fingers and stuff. That's part of the game, man. That's part of the game. So again, I don't think she kind of took it too far. I don't think Caitlin Clark did anything pretty wrong, man. Like I said, I mean, it's just basketball. It's just competitive, and you're in that moment. And that's Iowa, I believe, like second time being in that national championship moment. So, but when you see something like that, and when you know that program has struggled to get there, to get to the top like that, you're gonna be a little bit emotional and kind of over the top. It is gonna get a little bit emotional.
Yeah. Now, something else that came out of that game. I don't know if you heard about this yet or not, but Joe Biden, invited both teams to the White House, which we've never seen happen ever, right? And my thing is, first of all, props to Iowa for saying, like, look, we're the runners up. We're not, we're not coming. That's not our place, right? So give them credit for just coming out and making that statement. But to me, a lot of people automatically jumped on like, oh, it's racism, whatever, right? And I don't truly believe that Jill Biden was sitting there thinking to herself, great, now we got to host a bunch of black girls at the White House. Let's go ahead and get some white girls here and balance it out. Right?
I don't think it was like that at all, man.
I don't think it was like that. I think she was sincere in saying that she was like wanting to celebrate women and all that kind of stuff. Now, I 100% think that planned it up for political votes and things like that, right? But I do want to point out that this is something that people need to be more aware of, right? Like you gotta learn to think through the optics of things, because it's a bad look, is what it is. Right? You should have never invited Iowa. It doesn't matter what you were hoping to accomplish. It doesn't matter. You trying to create some female unity thing. You cannot do things like that when the optics are what they are. Like you have to be smarter than that.
Yeah, I think like I said, I agree with you on that situation. I mean, and I like I said again, respect to Iowa for saying we're the runners up, man. We didn't. That's kind of like saying we didn't deserve to be at that spot. LSU deserved to be in that spot. They actually the national champions. And like I say again, I commend Iowa for that moment. And I feel like LSU felt disrespected up on that and saying, hey, we won the national championship. We the one dominated, so we the one. They the one should have been at the White House. But gotta give more respect to Iowa for speaking up and just saying, hey, man, we didn't deserve to be there. We didn't win the national championship. they basically deserved it because we basically got dominated by them. So I commend Iowa for saying that, coming out and saying that.
Yeah, and I mean, look, I get it from the standpoint that women's sports are starting to finally get some recognition. We actually had games in the women's tournament that had higher ratings than some NBA games this year.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure we've never had that before.
The Final Four was really good, man. I'm telling you, the Final Four was really good, man. That was a nice Final Four, man. It ain't too much to say about that, man. They had some good ratings, man. It was high intense basketball, ladies basketball. The games were close. The games were most of the time the games were competitive. The people was out there supporting. The families were supporting. The ratings was very good. Man, give credit, man. Women's basketball is on the map, man. And we need more people, man, like I say, man, to support, show some love to the WNBA. Because these girls out there doing the same thing these men are doing. They're out there they don't make much money as the man. They don't make much money as the man, but these ladies can play. These ladies out there, they put it on the line as well. They fight, they put blood, sweat, and tears in the game as well. They fight through injuries out there as well. They do the same thing these men do. They probably not much as physical as the men. They probably don't get paid more than the men, but they deserve to be watched, man. They deserve to be watched. They deserve to be watched a whole lot.
Yeah. And, the thing that I'll acknowledge, man, we've been sitting here talking for about 15, 16 minutes now, and we've literally spent maybe 25% of that time talking about men. And the rest of the time we spent talking about the women's side, right? And that's not because we're trying to push an agenda or anything else. It's because it was legitimately more interesting.
Yep, it was. It was. So it was interesting. Some men NCAA tournament games. It was more interesting. It was more interesting than some of these games, NCAA men's games, man. Really, it was. Ladies was intense. They were very intense.
Yeah. So one final note on the ladies I wanted to touch on was Don Staley's comments. So for those who don't know, Don Staley is the head coach for South Carolina's women's basketball team. And, they play a very physical style, right? Yeah. So people, have called them, thugs or, brawlers or, all these different terms that they want to use to describe their physicality. And this is both the media as well as other coaches and players on other teams. And Don Staley says she feels like that when it comes time to play the game, the referees have a tendency to punish them because of that reputation. And I found this interesting because I want to give you a little context here before I ask for your opinion on this. Because it's almost in contrast to what we see in men's, right? Because over the years with men's basketball, like think about like the Detroit Bad Boys is a great example, right? When you have a men's team that is really physical, the opposite kind of happens, right? We all feel like they maybe get away with a lot of stuff because referees we can't call everything. So I'm curious to hear like your thoughts on this. Do you feel that it's had a negative impact on South Carolina?
Sometimes you can see it does, but sometimes, I mean, like I said again, sometimes you got to be physical in this game. You got to be physical in this game. You got to fight. You got to fight through it. But I say, Boston and Cardoso, they are pretty big, man. So people are going to do everything it takes to try to crowd them up and stop them. They're pretty big. And sometimes they do get whacked inside. But again, this is a women's basketball. You should allow to let these ladies play basketball. I'm not going to hold that as an excuse to why they kind of lost to Iowa, because again, you don't have any jump shooting out there. The best two players you got is Cardoso and you got Leah Boston and you got Zaya Cook. You got three solid players, good players out there that can play basketball. Zaya Cook is your only shooter, only playmaker. She's not really a shooter, but she's a playmaker. She can shoot. She's a very streaky shooter. I'm gonna say that she's when she's on, she's on. When she's off, she's really cold. She goes really cold turn into a really like a little ice cube when she's cold. So other than that, like I say, man, I'm not gonna blame that excuse on kind of why they lost. To me, that's kind of like a cop-out excuse or reason. Saying you feel like they getting beaten up inside. Sometimes it's true. But again, they're gonna allow them to play to the best of their ability. And hey, they couldn't shoot. They didn't have nobody to shoot, so Iowa's gonna be physical. They're gonna do whatever it takes to try to stop those two big ladies down inside. And that is what it is. I mean, sometimes they don't get the benefit of the call that they should. But again, it was physical down there. It was really physical, and you got to give credit to Iowa. You just got to give more credit to Iowa for how they handled everything.
Yeah, and I didn't really get the sense she was talking specifically about that one game. I thought she kind of felt that it was something overall. I mean, she's actually complaining about it
early in the season. I believe 𝐀𝐁𝐎𝐔𝐓 head coach Gino Auriemma said it about them, and she defended the same thing. She defended the same thing, that they were playing kind of dirty. They kind of physical. They kind of a little bit too physical. I mean, you want the game to be physical at some points, man. You don't want the game to be soft. You don't want the game to kind of be soft. So, I mean, that's just the way she teach her girls. And that's the way she teach. That's just the way she teach. That's just the way to coach. Just because you're physical don't mean you're a dirty team. Just because you can get physical with someone.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those things where you got to make a choice, right? I mean, you don't want to risk getting called for the fouls.
Yep.
And you can't play that physical. If you're gonna play that physical, then you're risking that they're gonna call you, right?
Yep.
And that's the unfortunate thing, because at any point in time, the referees can just decide to start blowing those whistles.
Yep.
And you just, like, that as a player, you just have to be able to adjust to that. I mean, is it possible that it kind of creates like a bias in the officials where they're calling it when they hear other coaches or players complain about it?
I think
but is it any different than like when Phil Jackson used to like sit there and get in the media before a series and talk about getting away with stuff? And
it's very possible. It's very possible. It's very possible that the referees are going to start looking at that going towards. Well, Leah Boston will be gone. She'll be probably the number 1 overall pick in the WNBA this coming year. But it's a possibility. They can start calling it to being kind of biased a little bit. But then again, don't make the game soft as a tissue. That's just the way. Again, Don Staley coach her girls, and if you're not physical at times in the game and stuff like that, man, that can play a big point. You got to allow, in certain time situations of the game, you got to allow these girls to go out there and play. Yeah, you got to allow them to go out there and play.
Now, I will say, in terms of the comments, if we're talking about media, right, I do think media has an obligation to be careful about the way they word things and about the way they phrase things. But other coaches, opposing players on other teams, open season, right? I mean, that's all part of the game. Well, cool, man. Any final thoughts you want to share on March Madness before we switch over to the NBA here?
Yeah, I want to say one more thing about San Diego State. Congratulations to San Diego State for making it to the national championship game. Nobody expected them to make it to how as far as they did, but they did that on elite defense, playing elite defense. They got a very good coach over there at San Diego State, so I just want to give them props for making it to the national championship, and FAU making it to the Final Four. I just want to give them those two teams props as well from making it, but nobody expected those two teams to be right there in that situation.
Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, and you feel kind of bad for them because how hard it is for those schools like that to make it back to that point. So you kind of feel bad for them. They couldn't get the job done, but I mean, it's still a great season, man. And hopefully they'll be able to use it in recruiting and bring in some good players.
Yep. Definitely.
Well, cool. So let's jump over to the NBA standings. So let's start over in the Eastern Conference. So right now you've got the Bucks at 1, the Celtics at 2, the Sixers at 3, the Cavs at 4, and the Knicks at 5. And they've all clinched a playoff spot already. Okay.
Yep.
You've also got the Nets sitting right now at 6, and you've got the Heat at 7, the Hawks at 8, the Raptors at 9, and the Bulls at 10. So we know for sure that's going to be the 10, right? Because the Pacers are 4 games out We don't have.
I believe that's it. That's it. Yep. That's it. That's it. I don't think nobody's catching the Bulls. I think the Bulls are locked in 10. I think the Bulls are locked at that 10.
Yeah. And by the way, the Bucks have wrapped up the number 1 seed, not just in the East, but the best record in the and actually the Nuggets actually had the best record, excuse me. But the Bucks did wrap up the best in the East. So when you look at the play in the East, right? So assuming that the Nets managed to hold the 6th spot, right now we'd have the Heat against the Hawks and the Raptors against the Bulls. Now, obviously, some things could change here with a couple games left because those teams are kind of tight. But assuming that we have those matchups, who do you have winning that 7-8 series between the Heat and the Hawks?
I got the Miami Heat. I think this team is more built to make a playoff run. I think this team is more built in the playoffs. Possibility, if they get the 7th seed, extend a series against Boston. I don't think they beat Boston in a 7-game series, but I do think they can extend the series to at least by 6 games. But I got the Heat winning this game because they're more experienced. They know how to make adjustments. And the Hawks just a flat-out all-around mess of an organization as of right now.
It's fair. It's fair. Raptors and Bulls. Who do you have winning that game?
Whoo, man, that's a tough call, man. That's a tough call right now. I'm going to take the Raptors to win that game. I'm going to take the Raptors to beat the Bulls. I think the Raptors actually got a better squad. I know the Bulls got Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan and Vuka, and Patrick Beverley is going to help them out too. But Fred VanVleet, Siakam, you got OG Anunoby, you got a bunch of guys up on that team that is Scotty Barnes. You can't forget about him. Very good, young and athletic. I think the Toronto Raptors are a better basketball team than the Chicago Bulls, so I will take the Raptors to win that game.
Okay. So are you then, based on your other picks, taking the Raptors or the Hawks to take the final spot?
I'm going to take the Raptors to take the final spot. I think the Raptors make the final 8 seed. Okay.
So the Raptors will win 2 games to get into the 8 seed to be the sacrificial lambs to the Milwaukee.
Yep. They got the Raptors.
So do you think that that's pretty much where we're going to be finished, or do you think there's a chance that the Nets might stumble? I mean, they've only got a 1-game lead right now.
You talking about? I think it's a chance. I think it's a chance that they may stumble. I really think it's a chance that they may stumble.
So
I really do.
So they got the Magic. They're playing right now.
Yep.
And then they got the Sixers on Sunday. That's the
remaining. Matter of fact, I think they may keep it because I don't think the Sixers may play their starters. I don't think the Sixers play most of their starters on Sunday. So I think they possibly keep the 6th seed. Yeah. I think they possibly keep the 6th seed.
Okay. And just so you know, the Nets, the Heat are playing the Wizards right now. They're currently down 1 with like 3 minutes left in the first half. And then they're playing the Magic on Sunday.
Yep.
So you're pretty much thinking we're going to stay where we are. The Nets are.
Yeah, I think it's going to stay. I think it's going to stay the same.
Okay. All right. So over in the Western Conference, so again we got the Nuggets at 52-28, the best record in the NBA.
Yep.
Then we got the Grizzlies in the 2nd seed, the Kings in the 3rd, the Suns in the 4th. So those teams have clinched playoff spots. Everybody else in the West still fighting. So right now we got the Clippers sitting at 5. We got the Warriors sitting at 6. The Lakers are only 1 game back of both of those teams at 7. The Lakers, I believe, do own the tiebreaker over the Warriors, but not the Clippers.
Okay.
And then you got the Pelicans sitting at 8, tied with the Lakers, because the Lakers have the tiebreaker there. You got Minnesota is 1 game back of those at 9. The Thunder is 1 more game back of those 2 at 10. And not eliminated just yet is the Dallas Mavericks, who's only 1 game out of 10.
Yep.
So we're actually all the way to the 11th seed, but hey, that's an improvement because last week I think still like 13 was still in it. So we at least now have eliminated 12 and 13 from contention. So, so how do you see this Western Conference playing out?
Oh, it's gonna be tough, man. I think tonight you're gonna see how it panned out. I think for the Warriors, for the Lakers, for the Pelicans, I think it's gonna go down to the last day. I think it's gonna go down to the last game of the season, which is on Sunday. I really think it's gonna go down on that, but it could happen tonight as well because all of those teams need to win to keep pace with each other. The farthest the Lakers, the farthest either team can go down is 9. I think either team is the lock for the play. You can easily go from 6 to 10 to 9. You can either go from 7 to 9 easily. You can easily do that. So this is a big win for the Lakers tonight. The Lakers gotta get a big win tonight. They gotta win the game. They gotta win this game tonight. Also, Sacramento gotta win tonight if they want to stay ahead. So if the Lakers win and Sacramento and Golden State lose, then the Lakers can jump Golden State. They can jump Golden State. Now, if the Lakers find a way to lose tonight and the Pelicans win on Saturday, then the Lakers can fall to ninth. The Lakers can fall much as tonight. So again, a lot of things going to shape up, but I think it's going to come down in that last game of the season, which is on Sunday.
Yeah, to me, if you're the Lakers, basically you are hoping that Sacramento can actually beat Golden State, right? And then you're hoping you can beat Phoenix. Because if that happens, the Lakers now own that tiebreaker. So they now put themselves in position to get that 6th seed, which will be absolutely huge for them because the 6th seed basically guarantees you a series against the
guarantees you a series, and you can rest
and not just the series, but against the Kings, which I mean, if we're being honest, if you look at the top teams in the West, if I'm the Lakers, I'm not wanting to have to match up against anybody but the Kings in the first round. That's my preferred matchup in the first round, right?
Yep. I think the Lakers can borderline. I think they can beat the Kings. If they get in the first round matchup again, if I'm a Lakers fan, I feel good about the Kings series. I feel good really going into Sacramento and beating Sacramento and playing Sacramento and beating them. Anything less than a 6th seed, I think the Lakers can lose the series. I think the Lakers possibly lose the series.
Yeah, I mean, Memphis, I'm a little hit or miss on. I think they could possibly beat Memphis in a series. I'm not confident that they're going to be able to beat Denver in a series at all. So, to me, if you're the Lakers, worst case, you got to finish 7th. But I think you really want to try to do everything you can to get the 6th seed. As a Lakers fan, I'm a Lakers fan, so I will tell you what my big concern with this team is. So we saw the other night, they had an opportunity to seize it, right? They had the opportunity to put themselves in that top 6, control their own destiny. All they had to do was beat the Clippers. And it was a second night of a back-to-back. And I know, we had, played overtime the night before, and we were on the road, and it was a 4-game road stretch, and we came back, and, all this other stuff. But I'm like, y'all are that worn down that you couldn't even, stay in this game. So to me, what's going to happen is let's say you do get out of round 1, you get into round 2, you get into round 3. Them blades not getting no fresher. So as a Lakers fan, that's my concern, right? Is that this team has not shown me at all this year that they can play with any level of consistency night in and night out. What you gonna do? You gonna go out there and lose every other game and take every series to 7 and hope that you can win a game 7? That seems like a terrible idea.
So, I mean, again, the Lakers, they need this win tonight. Phoenix are playing their guys too. To even mention that they're playing their guys because I think they're trying to get a little rhythm with Kevin Durant. And also, Phoenix is 8-0 with Kevin Durant in the lineup. They haven't lost a game yet as long as Kevin Durant in the lineup. But again, I know a lot of people like to say, we was on a back-to-back. That's the reason why we lost. But again, everybody plays back-to-backs in the league. And you're playing it's not no time for error. You're playing in a playoff type of stretch basketball. So you got to have these guys out there. And by the way, Utah didn't have Lauri Markkanen. It shouldn't have went into overtime in the first down place. Utah didn't have Lauri Markkanen. They didn't have Jordan Clarkson. They didn't have Jordan Clarkson on the court. Anyway, they didn't have Walker Kessler, their rookie, who's really good. So they had 4 key starters out of the game that night. You should have won that game by at least almost a damn mile. But it went into overtime. It went into overtime, and basically y'all was tired going into LA. You playing Russell Westbrook, who's going to come out and try to give it his all, especially with what happened with the Lakers situation. So the Lakers, this is a big game for the Lakers tonight. This is a big game for them tonight.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that happened to the Lakers against the Clippers was, unfortunately for them, Russ actually made shots.
Yep.
I mean, it was a good philosophy. he just made them. It didn't happen all the I mean, if you played the entire series and you took that stance the entire series, Russ isn't gonna burn you 4 games.
Nope, he not.
So it's not a terrible philosophy to have. It just didn't work out for them in that instance, and that's when they really needed it. So, so right now, who do you actually have? We know the top 4. The top 4 are locked in, right? Who do you have actually finishing in this 5th and 6th seed? Who do you think is going to grab those 2 spots and avoid the play?
Oh man, okay. This is going to be a little tough right here. So I'm going to go out on the limb and say the Warriors finish with the 6th seed.
Okay.
The Warriors in 5th right now, right? They're in 5th, right?
No, I think the Clippers in 5th.
Who?
Clippers are in 5th.
Okay.
So
the Warriors in 6th. Okay, I'm gonna say the Clippers stay in 6th, 5th. I'm gonna say the Warriors stay. I'm gonna say the Lakers get 6 by the win tonight. I think this is gonna be a win tonight for the Lakers, and I think it's a possibility that the Kings are gonna lose to the Golden State Warriors because the Kings was gonna beat Golden State. I think the Kings are playing Golden State straight up, and I think the Kings want to send a message to Golden State. Want to send a message to Golden State and try to bump them far as down the playoff picture as they could. So I'm going to say the Lakers actually get that 6th seed, and I'm going to go with the Lakers and I'm going to actually go with the Lakers and Clippers to keep the final 2 play-in spots, actual playoff spots, and I think the Warriors are going to get into the play-in bracket, and I think they will still get in, but they're going to get into the play-in tournament. So I will place the Lakers up with their win tonight, and with the possibility of a Kings loss tonight, of a Warriors loss tonight against the Kings.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna be curious to see what happens with the Lakers tonight because this is really like their backs against the wall, right? Let's see what you really gonna do against a very good Phoenix team, and then you obviously get to finish against Utah. So if you can win tonight, good chance to finish up with a win. But I'm actually going to take the Clippers at 5, just like you. But I'm actually going to take Golden State at 6.
Okay.
Now Golden State may lose tonight, but I'm not convinced that my Lakers are going to be able to pull this out tonight.
Okay, I like that.
Now, I do think that they will ultimately end up with the 7th seed.
Okay.
So I don't think they'll fall all the way out. I think they'll manage to stay either in that 7 or 8 spot, and then I've got them actually winning that game and finishing with the 7th seed. But I do have them in the play-in right now.
Yep. I can dig that. I can dig it.
I'm like the most realistic Lakers fan in the world.
I feel you. I feel you. I get what you're playing. When you've been so inconsistent all year, you got the right to do it. You got the right to play something like that.
Cool would tell you, man. Last year, I started talking about the Lakers weren't gonna make the playoffs like the beginning of December. I knew, man. I was like, now I would tell you if I think my team is going to win, I'm the most annoying Lakers fan in the world. Okay, yep. But when I don't have confidence in, I'm very realistic. So, all right. So, but you got the Lakers actually in the 6th seed. So
yeah, I got the Lakers actually I think they find a way to get a win tonight. I think they play with more. I think they play with more sense of urgency. Tonight, I think they play with something like they got something to play for, especially in the Staples Center. Now, I think the Suns is going to come out playing. I think they will come out playing their players, but I think this is a statement game the Lakers need to play. Need to come out and show some sense of urgency because again, you're trying to show, hey, we can beat the Suns too in a 7-game series. We can make it a tough series if we was to play the Suns. So you kind of want to come in this game with a sense of urgency and show some heart and show some fight and show some effort against the Suns team that's going to try to come in there and knock you far up out of the playoff picture as you could, and is going to try to come in there and embarrass you on your home floor.
Yeah. Now, I will say in terms of that game, what I think the Lakers need if they're going to win is very simple. You need AD to be AD because the Suns have nobody who can even think about stopping him.
Yep.
So, all right. So before we jump into what you think will happen with the play-in terms of the games, we have to ask the question. Is there a chance the Dallas Mavericks are going to sneak in, or are the Thunder going to hold on to that 10 seed?
I think there's a chance that the Mavericks will sneak in. I think it will have to be at the end of the season. I think it will have to be the last day of the season. Because if they win tonight against Chicago, they will be tied with the Thunder, and the Thunder own that tiebreaker. The Thunder do have the tiebreaker, which is going to keep them at 10th until Sunday. Now the Thunder got the Memphis Grizzlies on Sunday, and I think the Mavericks have the Spurs or something like that on Sunday. I know somebody winnable. So if the Mavericks win that game and the Thunder lose the game, then the Mavericks will have the 10th and final spot. If the Thunder win the game, then it don't matter. It don't matter what the Mavericks do. They lose out upon it. But again, the Mavericks shouldn't be in a situation. They made a terrible move with Kyrie Irving. Not saying Kyrie Irving is the problem of the team. The problem of the team is the defensive side of the ball. They can't stop anybody. They can't stop me. They can't stop you. They can't stop McCain. They can't stop anybody. So that's the problem on the defensive side of the ball. I think they can score at a high rate. But the problem is on the defensive side of the basketball, they are a terrible and a lackadaisical, terrible defensive basketball team. Luka even came out and said anybody can score on us, and he not lying. Anybody can score the basketball on Dallas.
Yeah, it's like Cool said when that trade got made, they're gonna score 130 points a game. They're gonna give up 140.
Yep, they did, and that's exactly what they do. They do exactly that. They give up 120, 130. They give up 140. Don't be surprised they give up about 150. Don't be surprised about that.
Yeah. So I don't have the confidence that you do in them. I think they're going to just miss the playoffs, and then we're going to be talking on next week's show about, is Luka even going to come back to Dallas? That's going to be the subject of conversation next week. So, all right. So you got the Mavericks sneaking in at 10. Okay. So let's play this out. So you've got Golden State will be the 7, assuming that everybody else stays where they are right now. The Pelicans against the Warriors. Who you taking?
The Pelicans against the Warriors. I'm taking the Warriors. Taking the Warriors.
I mean, you'd be a fool if you didn't. So,
yeah.
And then we'd have the Timberwolves against the Mavs.
I'm going with the Timberwolves. The Mavs can't stop anybody.
Yeah,
I gotta go with the Timberwolves.
We've already established that. So just playing devil's advocate here. If it's the Thunder, do you give the Thunder a better chance against the Timberwolves?
Yes, because they can actually stop somebody. Yes, they can actually stop somebody. Yeah.
Now do you actually think they would beat Minnesota?
Yes, I don't think Minnesota is that good. Yes, I think they can beat Minnesota in the game. Yes.
Okay. So that would leave us the Warriors against the Thunder or the Mavericks, or against the Wolves, depending on who ended up in that other spot there. So, do you think either one of those teams is beating Golden State?
No.
Okay. So, in your opinion, we're going to end up with the Clippers, the Warriors, the Lakers making those final 3 spots.
Yeah.
Cool. So any matchups in terms of what we're seeing right now that you're really looking forward to? Like, if you could just like put together that dream matchup right now, what would it be?
My dream matchup will be
first round matchup.
Okay, my dream matchup. I know it will be good for Western Conference Finals one. It will be good for Western Conference Finals, really will. But the possibility of this matchup really is happening will be the Suns and Warriors. That matchup will be something serious. And in the first round, somebody somebody great is gonna get knocked out early in the first round of the playoff. Now the Suns have a lot of pressure on them too. You just traded for KD. Chris Paul is on his last leg. You got a DeAndre Ayton who plays soft as hell at times. You got Devin Booker, you got Devin Booker as well, who's a very good scorer. You got some good pieces off the bench. Man, imagine if the Suns lose against the Golden State Warriors, man. Man, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna really hurt bad. So my dream matchup, and we know what the Warriors is. We know they showed it time and time again. When you think you got them beat, when you think you got them on the ropes, when you think you got a chance to go for the kill on the Warriors, they show time and time again. They know how to fight back. They know how to punch you back in the mouth, and they know how to respond to a punch in the mouth. So they showed it time and time again. That's not in question at all right now. That's why you have so much confidence in them, because they completely continues to show that they can fight back when it matters. Suns have not done that. Suns have not done that. Nobody's in the West have not really done that. So again, if you ask me, man, if that series was to happen, I may lean towards the Warriors. I don't care if they have Kevin Durant. I don't care who they have. The Warriors just showed you too many times, man, that they can do it. They can come back from adversity. They fight through adversity. They know how to make the proper adjustments they need to make to win a 7-game series, because you've seen it all the time. You've seen it through playoff runs, and that's the reason why they got 4 NBA championships, because you've seen them down. When they were down in the series, they never panicked. Even when they were down 3-1 against the Oklahoma City Thunder, even though when they were down 3-1 against my Houston Rockets, you've seen it over and over again. They were able to respond and bounce back, but you have not seen it for no other team in the Western Conference. As of right now, you have not really seen that. So again, I may pick the Warriors to win that series if they play Phoenix, but that is my dream matchup for the Warriors of Phoenix to match up with each other.
Yeah, I will say if I'm the Western Conference team, the two teams that I do not want to see early is the Suns and the Lakers.
Okay.
Because the thing about both of those teams is the later you get in the playoffs, if I were to take a poll of saying, okay, which team is most likely to have a star get injured?
Yep.
Playoffs going, these are the two teams. These are the two teams that most likely will have an injury. So if you're playing one of these two teams in the second round in the Western Conference Finals, you are more than likely going to get an easier game or easier series, because they're going to be missing players. That's just the reality of it. And, when you talk about Golden State, not only am I not counting them out, because they remind me a lot of the San Antonio Spurs from 15 years ago, right? Where it's like every time it seemed like they were out, they come back, right? So they just wouldn't go away. And they remind me of that in terms of just their ability to constantly reinvent themselves and find new ways to win games. But on top of that, I have no confidence that with Phoenix Big Three that any of them can stay healthy. I don't even know if they're gonna make it out the first round healthy, honestly.
Yep. I mean, I just seen, like I say again, Golden State, you may got them on a struggle right now, and you may think it's the best time to play them when they're vulnerable. But again, in that playoff stretch, again, you've seen it way too many times just to know, hey, you cannot doubt this team. This team is really good. This team is going to bounce back at some point. So when you actually have an opportunity, you got to put them away when you actually have the opportunity. You got to come out and play, because they're going to come out and play their best. And like I said again, man, I want to see that matchup in the Western Conference Finals, really, but it's the possibility of seeing it earlier. Hey, won't take my opportunity to jump at it, man. So I think before the season over, I think it's a possibility you can see this matchup real early, especially in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would rather see Golden State early, right? Because at least you have a chance that you might see them before they get hot.
Yep.
Because if they get out of the first round, then you start to worry about them heating up, them getting it figured out. And if they get going, it's like trying to stop Derrick Henry once he's full speed.
And I've seen that too many times. I've seen that dude literally beat us by himself.
Yeah. So when you look over the Eastern Conference, what first round matchup excites you, or we'll say potential first round matchup, since we don't really know the seeding yet, excites you the most?
Well, it will be exciting for me to see the Miami Heat get the 6th seed and go up against the Philadelphia 76ers. I just want to see how the Philadelphia 76ers respond, because the Miami Heat do have the Sixers number. They do have the Sixers number. They know how to play the Sixers. They know how to beat them. They know how to beat the Sixers. And Jimmy Butler turns into a superstar in the playoffs. Eric Spoelstra, someone who's won NBA championships, knows how to adjust on being a part of a 7-game series. So again, I would love to see the Miami Heat go against the Philadelphia 76ers. Don't be surprised if the Miami Heat win that series. I'm telling you, they can play against Philadelphia. And Philadelphia don't want that matchup at all. They don't want. I think that would be a bad matchup for Philadelphia to even play. They rather play Brooklyn than Miami as of right now. They rather play Brooklyn right now than Miami.
I mean, look, I do not disagree with you at all, and it's not just because Jimmy Butler shows up come playoff time.
Yep.
It's because James Harden doesn't.
Yep. Yep. He doesn't. He don't show up. He don't show up in playoff time. He doesn't show up, and Jimmy Butler is the perfect guy that you can throw on James Harden to frustrate James Harden. And Joel Embiid, if they continue to fail, especially this year, he's gonna be up out of Philadelphia early than often, man. I'm telling you, that dude don't want that dude wasting his career in Philadelphia if they can't get it done.
Yeah, we're gonna have to come up with a new name for James Harden come playoff time. Start calling him William or something. We come up with something a little different for him. So I want to real quick, man, get your thoughts on the MVP race, because I think we last talked about this, a few weeks back, and everybody I think was kind of in on Joker. Has that changed for you with Denver's slide?
The thing about the MVP race, I think Joel Embiid got it locked up. I think Joel Embiid won with that performance against the Boston Celtics, scoring that 53 points. I think that kind of put him over Nikola Jokic a little bit far as in the playoff MVP discussion. But again, none of that matters if you can't get past the second round. It's good to have the MVP, and it looks like he's going to win it. He's been very good. He's been consistent when he does play basketball. And again, the guy's definitely deserving to finally win his MVP. But again, after you get that award, that gets thrown up out of the way, because you got to focus on getting your team past the second round, and you got to focus on getting this team to the Eastern Conference Finals. So no matter how good you is, the same slander that Jokic kind of gets for not leading this team to a championship, in which he's been to a Western Conference Finals already, and he's been past the second round multiple times. Joel Embiid has not been past the second round or to an Eastern Conference Finals. So again, much slander they give Jokic for not winning, not helping his team win, and he doing all he could. Joel Embiid has to get that same slander. He's great, but again, he's good as he is. The team can't elevate past the second round. So again, he's gonna win the MVP. I got him winning the MVP. That performance by Boston that he went against Boston with, that helped him out a lot.
Yeah. I think they were kind of close, and I think especially with that game being at the end of the season, with it being against Boston, I think that I agree with you. I think that put him over the top. I think that really is going to be the difference, and I think he will win the MVP because of that.
Yep.
But again, like you just pointed out, what then you gonna do, right? Because if you go out there and you can't make it deep into the playoffs, if you can't make it to the finals, at least the Eastern Conference Finals, right? I mean, at some point, people are gonna say, "Hey, you can't get it done." No matter what your individual stats are.
I mean, they do it. They find a way to do it to Jokic, man, at times. But again, hey, you got to keep the same energy. You got to keep the same energy towards Joel Embiid and a lot of other these players. You can't just be winning MVPs and not getting your team over the top. That's not going to be good enough.
Exactly. All right. Eastern Conference. Who do you have coming out of the East and going to the finals?
Okay, so I'm going to have Boston. I'm going to go Boston.
Okay.
To come out of the East and go to the finals.
So why Boston? What do you think gives them the advantage over? I'm going to assume that the other team is Milwaukee.
Yeah, I think what gives them an advantage. I think they're the most well-rounded team in the Eastern Conference. They play team defense better than anybody in the league. They're not going to stop Giannis, but they got so many different looks, so many different bodies, physical players that they can throw at Giannis and contain them. They got two young studs in Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Malcolm Brogdon is a big pickup for them at the backup point guard at position with someone that they did not have last year. They did not have a point guard last year at all. So most of Marcus Smart had to play point guard. He's not really a virtual point guard. Sometimes you had Tatum and Brown running the ball up the court. They're not actual point guard, but this time you got an actual point guard in Malcolm Brogdon who can come in, who can shoot the three ball, who can get you some assists as well, who can play some very good defense. You got Robert Williams that's going to come back, be a rim protector. Got Al Horford, the veteran in that locker room. I just think Boston is the most well-rounded team in the Eastern Conference. They got just so many bodies they can throw at you, man. They play the best probably team defense in the game of basketball, and they are physical as well. So that's why I got them as the front runners to go back to the NBA Finals.
Yeah, I mean, I think you made some valid points, right? And I think that Boston definitely is the team that could get there. As a Lakers fan, I definitely don't want to see that happen. But I do feel when I look at this Milwaukee team, right? Because one of the things that I like to really look at is how do you handle adversity, right? And not just how do you handle adversity, but how do you handle winning, right? So when I look at this Boston team, right, you beat the brakes off of Milwaukee. I mean, just beat the brakes off, right? Like old school, like your grandmama sent you out to get the switch out in the woods. Right? They made Milwaukee go out there and get their own switch, right?
Yep.
But then, since then, all right, so you handled the Jazz, but then you lost to the Sixers. You only beat the Raptors by 4 points, right? Now you're handling the Raptors right now. They're actually spanking the Raptors right now, but you know, a little bit of a letdown, right? A little bit of like we've arrived kind of vibe I'm getting coming off of Boston right now.
Yep.
On the other hand, Milwaukee, ever since that loss, has been like, on a path of destruction, right? I mean, they have just like they've been locked in there right now. I actually think a highly motivated Milwaukee team gets by them.
Okay,
so I have Milwaukee coming out of the East. It's going to be a great series, and we all agree that's going to be the two teams, barring some future injury. That's going to be the two teams in the Eastern Conference Final. But I've actually had Milwaukee edging them out. But I wouldn't be surprised if Boston.
That's not a bad. I'm gonna be surprised Milwaukee beat them because I think Milwaukee has the intangibles to do it too. I think both teams actually can beat each other. I think Boston can beat Milwaukee, and I think it can also go the other way around. So that's not actually a bad pickup.
Yeah, that doesn't. I mean, when we talk about like how many games a series going, that's a 7-game series.
That's a 7-game series. Yep, that is a 7-game series.
All right, so over in the West, things get a little trickier.
Yep.
Who do you have coming out? Matter of fact, we need to actually state this back. Who's actually going to play in the Western Conference Final? Let's because I don't even think this is a guarantee. Like we're gonna agree on these two teams.
Oh my goodness! I know a lot of people gonna have Phoenix, and people gonna say, "Hey man, what about KD? KD? We all know KD and the Suns. If they're healthy, they're the best team. That's true. If they can, if they have the talent to win. But again, I don't trust them. I don't trust in Phoenix at all. I think it's a possibility they can also blow a series. I think it's a possibility they can blow a series as well. So I'm going to say Denver goes to the NBA Finals. Okay. I'm going to say Denver goes to the NBA Finals. I'm going to say they have the intangibles. They have the talent. They were top 15 on the defensive side, which is not bad, but not great. That's that's not bad. That's not great though. But they do stop somebody enough to win a ball game. Jokic, they have Jokic who's going to create a shot for each and everybody. You got a healthy Jamal Murray back who can put points on the board. You got a healthy Michael Porter Jr. as well. Bruce Brown is hella good on the defensive side of the ball and a 3-and-D player. You got some veteran leadership that won a championship in Caldwell Pope as well. I think they got all the intangibles to make the finals. So I got them as coming out of the West as the NBA finals and playing Boston in the NBA finals.
Okay. Now, I'll say this. I don't necessarily disagree. I give Denver a really good chance of getting there.
Yep.
But this is what's intriguing to me for Denver, right? So think about the way that the matchups are going to fall out, right? So if you're Denver, you're going to get the 8 seed, right? And then now we've already talked about it. We think that either Golden State or the Lakers are going to get that 7 seed.
Yeah.
Right. Either one of those teams have a really good chance of winning their first round matchup. And those are not teams that I necessarily, if I'm Denver, that I want to have to face in the second round.
Yeah. Like I said again, I think the Warriors can very much get back there. So I got a Western Conference Finals of the Warriors in Denver, and I actually got Denver edging them out in Game 7. I got Denver edging them out in Game 7 because I think that's when that home court is going to kind of be key a little bit. So I think the Warriors can borderline get there. I think they can really get there, and it wouldn't shot, like I said, it wouldn't shot nobody in the hell's grace of God that they get back to the finals, even though they played terrible on the road too this year, and a lot of people like to hop up on that. But when they're in full form though, and now that they in playoff ready mode, this team is going to be a tough team to play. They can win either on the road and at home when they're good. I'm telling you. But I'm gonna take Denver, man. I think Denver actually have the tools to beat the Golden State Warriors. They have the tools to beat them. Will they beat them? That remains to be seen. So I'm gonna give it to Denver. I'm gonna kind of give it to Denver a little bit.
Yeah, I'm also gonna take Denver in the in that Western Conference final, depending on what matchup they get, right? Because I think that could become problematic for them. I want to feel like if the Lakers can stay healthy, I feel like they got a chance. They have a championship roster.
Yeah.
But I don't know if they've had enough time to play together. I don't know if they can stay healthy enough. That's my biggest concern. I do like Golden State. My concern is if Golden State ends up matching up with Denver in the second round, then obviously one of them is getting knocked out, right? So then that kind of creates some chaos. I don't trust Phoenix. I don't think they can stay healthy. The Clippers are way too up and down. The Kings are to me, not great. And Memphis is, they're there. They've been playing great, but I don't have faith in them in a playoff situation, right? Like that's my concern. So I'm kind of leaning towards the direction you are, because I do think that Golden State holds that 6 seed, so I think they would probably be able to get to the Western Conference Finals before seeing Denver. So I actually agree with you. I thought we might disagree, but I think we ultimately are the same two teams. I'm obviously hoping it's the Lakers, but being realistic, I think it's going to be Golden State against Denver. I do have Denver actually winning that series. I think I said it a couple years ago that I thought it was only a matter of time before this Denver team won. Obviously, with Jamal Murray, the injury kind of set them back and things. They finally have everybody back healthy and they're playing good team basketball. So I got them winning, but I don't see them beating Milwaukee or Boston, either one.
No, I got Boston. I got Boston winning the NBA Finals. I got actually Boston beating them if they do make it. I believe they do make it to the finals, but I think it will be Boston time to win the NBA Finals.
Now, I will say, if by some chance the Warriors do make the Western Conference Final and actually win and go to the finals, I think they could be very problematic matchup for Boston.
Yep. At that point, you can't rule Golden State out at any point of time. I know Boston's going to have the home court advantage too, and I know it's going to seem like, hey, Boston the better team this year than Golden State. But again, Golden State is proven time and time again, hey, they are legit. When they get there, they can finish the deal. They have proven time and time again.
Absolutely. Well, man, I know we were gonna give you a little time to talk MLB, but believe it or not, man, we've already used up our whole hour.
Yeah, it's fine, man. It's fine, man. I'm glad. I'm glad we was able to get up on here and talk, man. I'm happy. I'm glad.
Yeah, man, got a lot of basketball talk. I know Cool gonna be mad. He missed a whole show about nothing but basketball.
Yeah.
You gonna be like, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward to getting the NBA playoffs started. Got the NFL draft coming up here in just a couple of weeks, which we'll be doing the 1 hour live for the first night. So just a little heads up for everybody. Go ahead and mark your calendars. We won't be on Friday night that week. We'll be on Thursday night for the first round of the draft. So make sure y'all tune in. I don't know if you be planning on joining us or not, Coach, but love to have you stop in and hang out with us for a little bit during the draft.
Yep. I got you. I'm gonna stop in because I'm also doing it on my stream, but I'm gonna stop in on my phone as well.
Okay.
Got you.
Well, appreciate you, man. Appreciate everybody tuned in tonight. If you're catching us live on the replay, whatever, man. Appreciate y'all. Make sure you hit that like button.
Yep.
Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And before you leave, go ahead and hit that share button too.
Yep.
I'll bet next week.
Peace out, you guys.